Alright lads, so one of the best banners of the entire year, one of the most anticipated banners to return is finally returning after like 6 months. And that of course is the Parasol Burn the Witch characters. Just 1 week after our most recent Burn the Witch banner. And that kind of sucks, especially if you did go all in for Nini and Noelle, but realistically this shouldn't really come as a surprise. They did the exact same thing back in 2021, where they released a new Burn the Witch banner, Noelle and Nini, and then a week later reran the other Burn the Witch characters. If you are someone that still has orbs and also have been playing the game for quite some time, you should know the existence of these characters and what they can offer on your account. And honestly, after the last 6 or so months, they've aged really well. I still love using all 3 of these characters, and are still characters that I vouch for and would recommend summoning if you do actually want them. So the banner itself will be available tomorrow and will be lasting until the 16th. So the second this banner does leave is when the mid-month banner does start. Although that doesn't really matter because wherever mid-month is going to be, it's not really going to come close to any of these 3 particular characters. The banner itself does feature every Burn the Witch character with the inclusion of Epic Ichigo. It's essentially the exact same banner that it was back in April. Now, to some, that might be a good thing. Maybe you're missing all the Burn the Witch characters, and if you are a collector that do want to collect these characters, this is a good chance to get all the remaining Burn the Witch characters. At the same time, though, most of these characters are a tad bit outdated, and you won't get much use of them if you are strictly looking for just to pull good characters, for example. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a few minutes. Because first up, let's talk about the new characters, right? I will say the timing of this banner is really well planned on KL's part. There's a lot of events going on right now that really want you to have these particular characters. Because starting off with Bruno, he is a Heart No affiliation character with the Hollow and also Espada kill ability. This is a really good killer combination. There's almost no good Heart Hollow killer. He's one of the better ones. The best melee one. And when it comes to the Espada killer, once more, not many good characters out there with that particular killer, especially as a melee character, which is important for the upcoming very hard melee Espada guild quest. This overall adds a lot more value to the character because you will use him in these particular situations. Other than that though, really strong character thanks to his damage output, very similar to Nini, although to a lesser degree. He wants to have the gauge at full completion. When he doesn't though, he still has a very good damage output thanks to his friendly +2 and also 40% Berserker. But having a closer look at the gauge effect, it starts at 70%. Once you do fill up the gauge, you then get an additional 100% Berserker and also an additional 50% SP boost. He can then heal himself with the gauge and also reduce his strong attacks by 30%. Really good in any fast-paced content like Limit Breaker, which he is ideal in this upcoming one. It's going to be good for guild quests, and overall it's just good for general PvE content. He's immune to every stat summon, he has good strong attacks, and he also has long stride and gets better even in arena. As far as heart characters do go, he is without a doubt one of the better ones, and that's saying something because of how competitive this attribute actually is. Even within the heart attribute, no one has his killer combination, and that allows him to stand out potentially to maybe you one of the better heart characters in the entire game. He looks cool while doing it. Overall, very solid character, going to be good in this upcoming guild quest and also Limit Breaker quest. Macy, personally my favorite of the two, who has now gotten better thanks to this guild quest update, and the reason for that because she is a speed no affiliation character with the no affiliation and also squad 0 kill ability. They've currently split up a guild quest, so now squad 0 is paired with humans, and there's now also a ranged and melee variation of that. And when it comes to the ranged human / squad 0 characters, Macy is without a doubt the best. And there's not really good options for this upcoming guild quest outside of this particular character. What we have seen is that characters with a tracking vortex, especially a good damage output, especially also on the soul bomb, and Macy ticks all 3 of those boxes, she's going to be really good in 2 types of guild quests. And that's thanks to again her strong attack hit, but she also has a really high damage output thanks to a friendly +2, 40% Berserker, and when you do inflict a status augment, not only do you apply weakening and also drain, the weakening allows you to do 50% more damage, but you also do 80% more damage to enemies afflicted with your status augments. And then if that isn't good enough, you also then get an 80% SP boost. And then you also have weakened defense, so your soul bombs also hit them ridiculously hard. And as soul bomb damage, in my opinion, has gotten more value because you can't nuke through all waves in guild quest now. But even then, in the hard difficulty of guild quest, she was capable of nuking all 5 waves. And then, if that wasn't good enough, when you move into a new map, your recharge on your strong attacks get reduced by 20%. That's really good for Limit Breaker. It makes her one of the best speed characters, and you can essentially use in any third slot for the Limit Breaker quest because your strong attacks are always coming back ready to go, and she has a really high damage output, a really fun kit too. The only bad thing about her is her SA1, and when you play with her, you'll realize that it doesn't matter. She clears fast, she's fun to play, and it's also Macy. It's the first time she's in game. The character feels fresh when playing with her. And then lastly, we have BALGO and Osushi. Overall, a very solid character, and also a farming character. But look at his affiliation, he is a minor affiliation character with the Quincy and Human Kill ability, and this was, at least for guild quest purpose, kind of sucked because it was 2 killers, but you're only ever used in one particular guild quest. Well, now that they split up the Quincy and Human guild quest, you can actually get more usage out of him because now you can use him in 2 types of guild quests, the ranged Quincy and ranged Human. Having said that though, his damage output is lacking compared to the other 2 characters, but for a farmer, it's still relatively good. Frenzy +1, 40% Berserker. When you inflict a stat summon, which you have an increased chance to do so, you then get to 80% stat boost to your spiritual pressure stat. He has Killer right now in IT, and that's important because he does increase the amount of links or potions you get, super links or potions, and also droplets for the heart attribute. He's the best farmer when it comes to mind characters, and for the next month, he is at the best of his abilities since the enemies are Quincy enemies. Very similar to Macy, he can also nuke in guild quests since he does have bombardment on his soul bomb with weakening and the SP boost, and he can only nuke in the hard and normal difficulty. That's still noteworthy though, but even in the ranged guild quest, he has good survivability with the drain, the weakening. Soul bomb still does do a respectable amount of damage, so if you do use your soul bomb, there's a good chance you're going to do a lot of damage on one particular boss, allow you to get into the second one a lot faster. For a farming character, I think he is very solid. One of my favorite characters in the entire game. I love the visuals. It's BALGO running around with Osushi. I think he's aged quite well. Outside of like the really broken farmers like Tensa and also Rangiku, because they just bypass Iron Skin, I think BALGO is the next best character for farming purposes. And in the mind attribute, he is the best. That then takes us into the filler characters. Let's quickly go past them because most of them aren't really anything noteworthy per se, at least in this current age. So Noelle was previously a good nuker in guild quests, but only on the hard difficulty, right? Because you could nuke all 5 waves. They have killed nuking, and I feel like Noelle is one of the few characters that took the biggest hit because of her strong attack kit, and while her damage output's still respectable, it's very similar to BALGO's actually. Her main thing was nuking, and I don't think she's going to be the best lead for a particular guild quest since you now have better options. At the very least though, she is a farming character. By using her, you're getting 5 additional power links or potions and also 5 additional power super links or potions. She has an increased chance to inflict settlement. She has 2 killers, so overall when she does have killer, she's really good in inheritance trials as a farmer. Her storm damage is still respectable, especially if you are farming epic raids. She is currently a bonus, so you're able to clear epic raids super fast and also get the additional value since you do get more potions with this character. Same can be said for Nini. She is a super Linksaw farmer. In her case, Soriba and also no affiliation killer. When she has killer, she has an increased chance to inflict stat summons. That's good in IT to bypass the Iron Skin ability. And she also does increase the amount of mind links or potions and super links or potion you can get by 5. And that's good for farming. Now, there are better farmers out there. Rangiku is significantly better. And personally, while I do have this Nini max transcended, I don't use her all too much because I'd much rather use someone better, but she still has that value as a farmer. If you're looking to get carried, you can just join a lobby and people will gladly carry you just because you have Nini. Bruno is kind of outdated at this point, I will be honest. His damage output is on the low side since he is an arena character. Essentially, he only has Frenzy +1 with a 40% Berserker, has a good strong attack kit, is definitely usable, but you definitely will see his age if you do decide to play with him. He does get better in arena, and I feel like he's still usable in arena since he does get the start power item +2 skill and also an additional Frenzy +1. Artbook is very similar to how I just described with Bruno. I mean, damage output, he has a good strong attack kit, weakening at every attack, and a 60% Berserker, 2 good killers with Marauder. Overall, a usable character. There are definitely far worse characters out there, but when you play with him, you will see his age starting to show. Since a Berserker +60% and Frenzy +1, you know, it's nothing as crazy when compared to some of the newer characters. But still a great character though. Then we have Nini. Honestly, not really that good anymore. She has 2 killers, damage output's on the lower side, she can't inflict status on, and she has a Vortex Barrier SA2, which might provide some decent, you know, survivability. Good collector character, fun for the first couple games, but again, she is at this point like over 3 to 4 years old. Same goes for Noelle. Noelle is the better of the 2 compared to the original Nini Noelle, but again, and her damage output, to be fair, is on the higher side for her age. An 80% Berserker with a good strong attack hit, but not being able to inflict status does kind of hurt to hit, at least for inheritance trials, and realistically, you're not going to get much use out of her when compared to the other content in the game. game. Overall though, I still think the banner is actually relatively good. I mean, it's the same banner from 4 months ago, and I went all in on that banner. I spent over 10,000 orbs. And if I didn't have all these characters, but I still had those 10,000 orbs, I would probably do it again. I think the banner is great. You know, the fillers themselves, in terms of usability, it's not the greatest, but they are still some of the rarest characters in the game. So as a collector, they're good to have just once. But again, even Nini and Noelle, the Christmas versions, for example, you can get a use out of them since they are farmers. But the main three that you'll be going for is Bargo, is Macy, and also is Bruno. And right now, this week, next week, this month, it's the best time to get them, and it's smart on Killer's part by returning them right now because this is where they're most valuable. Having a look at the actual banner itself though, it is a normal banner, no pity system. We've yet to see that on reruns, hopefully sometime in the future. But step 1, 6, 11, 16, and 21 are discounted at 150 orbs. Step 2, 7, 12, 17, and 22 are discounted at 200 orbs. And in every 5th step, you're guaranteed a featured character, which for the most part includes a Burn the Witch character, with the exception of Arpa Gichigo. But there could have been a worse filler in here, so I really don't mind him being included here. Obviously, this banner was worth summoning on back when it first came out in April. It's still worth summoning on now. These are without a doubt still some of the most valuable, rarest, and best characters in the entire game. Whether you should summon though, again, as always, that comes down to you. Do remember, we are getting close to the end of the year. There are going to be a lot of great banners coming our way, as with this. We're most likely going to get a 1000-year Blood War banner at the end of the month, potentially with Esnot. End of year, of course, is going to be 1000-year Blood War. We're going to get the Brave Fest banners for the 8th anniversary characters, and we're going to get poll selection. So keep in mind all those upcoming things before you decide to summon on this. There's a lot of big banners coming our way. This is worth summoning on, but as always, it comes down to you too, right? If you've been playing the game for the last 6 months since these characters came out, you should know the impact they do have. And if you feel like you need them, and you feel like you missed out by not going for them, well, now's a great chance to get them. Again, these characters are really rare. They are Burn the Witch characters after all. We have no idea when they're next going to return. Maybe sometime in June next year. For me, though, I'm going to be skipping because I literally have every character here max transcended besides Parasol Bruno. Would love to get dupes of him, but not when I have like a 99% chance of getting a character that I already have max dupes. Either way, though, happy to see the banner return. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this banner returning, so if you are summoning tomorrow, good luck. Hopefully you get what you want in a short amount of steps. I will be live tomorrow, so I'm hoping to see some of you lads' results. Let me know how the summons do go, and I'll see you lads next time. Take care, and peace.